Hi, good morning, good evening. As per your time zone, I'm Kumkum Sharma and I'm back again on live open session episode 46. Since last 46 weeks, we are running these sessions, not the weeks, the episodes. And we are getting good responses, and people are joining, resolving their problems, discussing their issues. So, let me just give you the agenda quickly. So, agenda, it's not driven by me, it's always driven by you. Whatever question you have related to right certification, right career path, feel free to ask. How you can ask? It's very easy. We are live on LinkedIn, we are live on YouTube. You can just drop your questions in the comment box. I'll include your question and Saket will answer your questions. So thank you very much, Saket, joining me again for this session. So, Saket, today I'll start the session. So, let me take the opportunity and ask my first question. So, as everybody knows, we are finishing year 2022 and we are starting year 2023. So, before starting, I just want to take the resolution for my new learning areas. So, Saket, based on your experience, what do you suggest for people, for professionals, how we should start our year 2023 and what all courses and trainings would be beneficial for us in upcoming year?
Great. So definitely the answer will be customized to everyone. Yeah. So welcome to the session. Hi, David. Yeah, welcome. I think you have been waiting for getting live started. So thank you for joining in. Merry Christmas. So New Year is coming, and many of you might be revisiting how the previous year went, and what we should go do differently in the upcoming year. Some of you may make it a resolution, or some of you may just take it as a retrospective point and want to do some retrospective. So it's a good idea. It gives an opportunity to reflect on. These times keeps moving here and there. Every day we can do, but it's again a time to reflect. Now, what is coming next? In general, I see the more and more focus on the virtual ways of working, integrating virtual and online physical way of working, focusing on more and more asynchronous collaboration where people and things are not available to use synchronously. So it's like we should be having some understanding of tools, mechanism by which we can collaborate and communicate in an asynchronous manner as well. So earlier we were insisting and we were trying to find a face-to-face communication opportunity. Nowadays, even synchronous communication is becoming difficult, which could be a phone call or a video call also, because a lot of things are happening in an async manner. So professional needs to learn, the managers need to learn how to lead and facilitate such kind of work environment where the distributed work, asynchronous work is becoming the trend of the thing or a necessity of the time. More and more we see a focus on leadership skills, improving your soft skills. Now actually what is leadership and soft skills may become a little complicated, but more and more we are seeing focus on people focusing on coaching as an individual, coaching as a team, and learning various type of coaching programs as well as certification. International Coach Federation also came up with the team coaching program. So I think more and more institutions and options for educating and improving on the coaching space will come in the upcoming time. And the professionals will have a choice rather than sticking to a one way of doing coaching and a team coaching. They will have a more and more learning opportunity and choice in the upcoming year. Okay, so we got a question. I got a question person talking about that I am PMP and PSM1. Should I do PSM2 or should I do PMI ACP? I don't think both of these certificates probably add value in general. You need to see where you focus on. Yeah. So see, a PSM2 or PSM3 is something is moving and focusing on Scrum way of working. So if you are getting a more and more opportunity to work in a pure Scrum mode, then these further learning of Scrum certification helps you. But since you have done PMP, so I am assuming you are working in a mixed environment. You have Scrum, you have predictive, or you have traditional part of project management little bit, and maybe a little bit of Kanban as well. So if you are working in that mode, further developing specialization in a Scrum may not be useful because you already got into project management space. So you need to do something which keeps you generic. That's the one option. Or if you have a specific opportunity where you are getting into product organization and you see the Scrum way of working is going to be your prevailing way of working, then learning more and more about Scrum might be useful, improving your Scrum Master journey. So, from a generic perspective, having a Scrum and project management certification is good enough. Yeah, probably you don't need anything other than using these two well. That's a good starting point. The only thing which you can consider is that if you see that you want to move towards large scale agile implementation, then you probably want to understand what is scaled agile framework. So, leading safe is a good alternative to look at. If you want to get into consulting coaching space, then you may want to develop your coaching style. Yeah, that if you want to stick to a agile way of doing coaching, then ICP ACC might be a good idea. So that's what I can advise here. Okay, thank you for using our content for passing your PMP. Thank you for sharing your thoughts. We are happy to make your PMP journey a little bit easier. And good to see you here. Okay, so being in the IT industry for technology track for almost 15 years, now getting a feeling I should move the track to the management. But this transition for a new job makes me it more challenging as organization asking to experience or some sort of certification. So what is your recommendation for define the future path? Uh, so see, the whole idea here is the certification and learning usually serve that purpose only. So the people who are either getting into career transition or they want to do a next level of job, they get themselves ready with the help of theory and certification so that they can position themselves well. So if someone is coming from a little bit of IT technology space, you might be doing some amount of team leadership, might be managing projects on a little bit ad hoc manner rather than following a proper project management framework. And now you want to like establish yourself as a leader who can facilitate, lead the project team in doing project execution. You need to invest in learning. That's a recommendation. Now, what should you learn? That's the second question. Something which can be related to your past experience, because as you all understand, and I can see the next comment as well, just getting a certification is not enough. You will still face a challenge in the job market. So when you are facing a challenge in the job market, you need to relate your learning and some percentage of your experience. So look at the type of things you were doing and see what your managers and leaders were doing. And if you can get those skills which can position you there, then you can position yourself for the next profile. In general, if you are working in a mixed mode segment where there is some amount of agility, some amount of predictive way of working, then doing PMP certification might be a good idea. That's something I can by default recommend to you. And if you see some amount of agile and scrum way of working is already there, then doing certified scrum master is also a good idea. So certified scrum master is like a this, you can get it in a 2 days time. PMP is like this, it will take around 2 months time to finish it. So if you see a little bit value of certified scrum master, it's just a 2 days investment, very small money, you get it done. And then look for that, okay, if I got it this and I see there is something more, then you can do PMP along with that. Okay. So we go further. So that's what I can suggest. If you have any follow-up, please put it there. So the question is why the job market is challenging for people who are PMP certified. So my recommendation is don't put each certified person on a same bucket. There are people who have done 20 years and then got certified. There are people who just got 5 years and they got certified. There are people who are having a more leadership experience. There are people are having from different domain. So each individual is different. Yes, we add PMP to your certification. We add PMP to your experience, but experience still holds a value. So all of us has our own history of working. Whenever we are putting ourselves to a job market, the recruiter wants to get a value out of us. So we need to ask this question, why someone should select me when they have a lot of availability? And when we see our experience, our education, our commitment, our learning is matching and which is becoming a differentiator, that's the place we should be selected, and that's the place the recruiter will also start finding us more and more important. Now, what are the competition for safe training? I'm not getting the question. I'm not able to clear the interview. Can you guide me as a mentor coach? So what we do is we do Scrum Master interview series. It's a free of cost service. The only request is that you can keep your video off, but we record the session so that we can use it for others as well. So if you want to have that kind of session, which are many already here, we are happy to help you. We do have other mentors who can help you on a one-on-one level as well. As of now, I am not doing one-on-one mentoring, but I do that the open YouTube sessions mentoring. So that's something I can, if you see there is a value, you can do that. And we also have something called Industrial Enabled Scrum Master Program. We call it IESM. That helps significantly in getting the interview tips ready. So if you want to go through it, just check in on our website the IESM part of it. That might be useful thing. Okay, so I'm planning to do PMP in the March 2023. Which would you recommend doing prior to it? Okay, you are talking about Scrum Alliance CSM, yeah, PMI DASM, and PMI ACP. So my recommendation is Scrum Alliance Certified Scrum Master, primarily because of the visibility of the certification and the simplicity of achieving it. You don't have to put any effort, much effort. You just need to be present in the class mentally and physically. And once you are present, you are done with that certification. And whatever you learn will make, most of those topics will make sense for your PMP exam preparation as well. Others may not add that much to it, but yeah, that's the easiest my recommendation for you. Okay, so I'm looking at a leadership roles and decision making space, moving from Scrum Master work experience. What should be the recommended in the term of certification and course? So if you are working in the environment which are project oriented Scrum, then my default recommendation is PMP certification, which means that you are working as a Scrum, but there is some client vendor relationship. There is a contract which binds you, and you need to produce various project management related things as well, along with the Scrum work. If that's an environment, then you better get to know more detail about the project management space so that you can probably establish yourself as a project manager, program manager, and supporting in a different ways of working, including Scrum. So that's one recommendation. Go for PMP certification. If you see, no, I am working in a pure Scrum space, and my organization is a product organization, and we just run sprints and we have a product line made, then probably you want to master skills towards, you need to choose, you want to get into consulting or you want to get into delivery space only. So that will be more like a multi-team Scrum Master or overall delivery management, where you can again apply program management skills. So usually those kind of organization may also look for safe way of working. So learning and getting ready with a scale agile framework might be a good idea if you're working in a pure agile environment. That's a possibility you can do, especially when you are talking about decision making and the leadership delivery role. I think these are the two possible directions you can take. Okay, so can you please share some influential tips regarding mentioning experience on the LinkedIn profile as a PM? Difficult thing. I never thought about it. I can just talk about that what kind of things a project manager may want to showcase. So probably, I think now the LinkedIn also allows you to add project, and some of my clients end up doing it, and you can even add the team members to the project. So if your projects are not that much confidential, and especially if you are doing public visible projects, yeah, like I have been added to some of the projects which I was involved before. So probably you can see that particular option. If that exists, it brings a significant amount of credibility, but it depends that can you really do it? Can you have other team members also join there? If that is pretty visible, it shows what you have been doing as a project. That's the one thing. The second thing is, if you can get a recommendation, and the recommendation primarily talking about your project management skills, they show that they have worked with you and you were leading and doing project management, I think that also adds significant value. Because see, the idea here is the text is written by you, but you should look for a text written for you. That's a little bit more important in a social media platforms. So these are the two things to start with. Once these two things are done, or you have your own limitation for it, then you focus on how can I position my profile which is more matching to the expectation what people have from the project manager. So one of the possible things, I can search some of the project managers profile, find out what they have been showcasing. I can search some of the jobs and see what kind of skills those jobs are asking for, and I need to ensure that in my profile summary I add those details. Yeah, that much, these three things I can suggest. I'm not that much expert in LinkedIn profile optimization, but I think generically speaking, I can suggest that, and you can find out a little more about it. So, how to transform from business analyst to product owner? Okay, so this is something we have been exploring some time, and I would say you don't have to do much. See, the business analysis is a set of activity, and the business analysis is a part of product ownership and product management. So a product owner or a product manager end up doing business analysis, like taking customer interviews, stakeholder interviews, compiling the information, presenting it back, creating user personas, exploring user stories, creating user journey maps. All these things are business analysis activity, and doing competitor research, benchmarking. So there is a good amount of activity overlap between a business analysis and the product ownership or product management. Now, what might go a little beyond? Visioning, road mapping, and future forecasting, developing partners and thinking from a market perspective. That will be a little bit beyond the business analysis space. Again, business analysis is a extension which can go there as well, but many times business analysts are internal focused. Someone has brought the requirement and they are further making it understandable to the development team, whereas the product ownership or a product management starts focusing on bringing the requirement on the table and then extending it further. So think in your context, who is bringing the requirement, what the things those people are doing differently than you, yeah, and what kind of education and experience they have. In general, from a certification perspective, the certified scrum product owner is a good to understand the roles and expectation of from a product owner in the scrum team. On top of that, I do recommend you explore a little bit more domain understanding, focusing on the marketing related topics like empathy mappings and how do you really create a product roadmap, understanding how do you go for like overcome the technology adoption curve, how do you cross the chasm. So learn a little bit more market oriented stuff and the domain, like if you are working in a finance or those things, so that you can get a better understanding of capturing the customer feeling. So some study material around marketing, doing the basic understanding of role of a product owner with the help of CSPO, and doing some understanding or attending some events which are related to the area you work in probably can help you getting ready for your product ownership job. So do you have a virtual training for PMI ACP? We don't have a virtual live training for PMI ACP, but we do have for Certified Scrum Master. And if that looks attractive to you, you can explore. Are we providing Cal O and Cal T? I think as of now we are in a Cal E. We'll go to O and T, but as of now we are on Cal E. Can we record this session? This session is recorded. It will be available on YouTube as we finish it. It is available, or it will be available on LinkedIn Live as well as we finish it. Yeah. So SAFE certification, what scope do you see in the future? Is there any better certification than SAFE? Okay, so that's now I can understand the question. So see, SAFE certification and SAFE. So please try to understand, SAFE is not like PMP. It's not like a project management. It is something specific. It is a particular way of working, and it is useful when that particular way of working is applied. So the question should be, are people going to use scaled agile way of working, and what do we see the adaptation of SAFE trends? If the adoption of SAFE is happening, the SAFE certifications are useful. If the adoption of SAFE is not happening, then people don't need SAFE certification. It is not like a core project management skill which you build in a PMP, which you can apply in a multiple context. It's a specific way of working. And that's the advantage of it. And that probably sometime may become a disadvantage if you are looking for a generic knowledge. So that's the whole thing. Now, do we see a SAFE adoption happening? Yes. Do we see a SAFE training is happening more and more? Yes. And SAFE training and SAFE adoption usually go hand in hand, because in SAFE adoption, they have too much stress on educating people on SAFE with the help of training and certification so that they can work well in SAFE context. The idea of SAFE training is to getting people ready to use SAFE. Yeah, it is not just like getting ready for generic project management or agile way of working. So I do see the organizations using SAFE. If you see your organization is moving towards SAFE, if you see your experience is something which can help you in getting in a safe way of working, then SAFE certification is a good choice. Yeah. Moving from CSM to product ownership is recommended, or we should focus on PM? So in general, the role of a project manager, traditional role of a project manager, is a mixture of Scrum Master and product owner, if I see from a Scrum world. Because the project manager is expected to do a stakeholder management, selling the business idea, many times even doing business analysis for the product space. So I personally believe the person can, if the person has a project management experience, can move to the facilitation role as well as to product ownership role. It depends upon your interest and your experience background. Because as I said, just certification will not be enough, just learning will not be enough, especially when you go to a senior level, because you are not applying for an entry level job. You need to relate whatever you are doing with your past story. So if you see that you can relate the work you are doing or you were doing with the help of various teams from a business analysis or a product management space, then going to a product ownership is a good idea. If you see that you can relate and your interest is more about managing integration, handling various issues, getting things done, preparing reports, and taking care of various escalation and ensuring everybody has a common understanding of a project requirement, then you stick to a project management role. Yeah. So how to reach out to the one-on-one session for individual mentor? Please drop us an email so we can reach you. Yeah. Yeah. So PMI ACP, I'm not sure. See, one is that you can check in your environment, in your job portals, if the PMI ACP is coming as a desired certificate, then you can do PMI ACP. But my recommendation is the PMP is the certificate from PMI. Yeah. So if you want to do anything from PMI and you are ready from a qualification and experience perspective for PMP, then that's the one certificate one should do from PMI. Others are there, but they are not at the level which the PMP is still running. Yeah. IESM is not a Scrum Alliance program. It is our program, and that's the differentiator. It is not getting into theory. It is just talking about things which are getting used in the Scrum way of working in a little more practical perspective. Okay. So can you also have a program where people who have ICP, Agile, ACC can practice coaching with each other? So something we are doing, we are started with our clients recently from last batch. We have formed a separate exclusive group for them on a LinkedIn. And let's see how the experience goes. We have not yet thought of extending to beyond our client space. As of now, we are like doing it with the recent batches. If once we see some traction happening, then we will take it to our past ICP ACC customers, and if that also starts working, then probably we'll take it to the bigger level. So we run ICP ACC, we run ICP CAT, the Coaching Agile Transition Program. So we are creating the group which is common for both, so people can again, it's not about the certification alone, but the people who are coming from different interests can come together and talk. Yeah, so that's the thing. So we are merging one more, CSPSM as well. So we are focusing on advanced certification like CSPSM, ICP ACC, and the ICP CAT, and trying to start with the recent batches, we are starting with the forming a small community where we can have some amount of knowledge sharing. As of now, LinkedIn group, unlisted LinkedIn group, which is not public, and then also having some events, sharings, and coaching session. So that's the plan. It depends on overall traction, because many times it's easy to start a community, but then running the community is little different challenge. Let's see how it goes. Yeah. So if you want to establish yourself as a project manager with CSM or without CSM, you should focus on PMP certification. That's the only simplistic answer I can give. The question was, what would you recommend after CSM certification if someone wants to establish as a project manager? Simple. PMP certification is the good learning thing. And please, my recommendation, especially the way we have designed the program, it is not about memorizing concepts. It's not about keeping 10 rule in the mind and writing those book rules on the exam. Not at all. It's all about understanding how project management works. What are the various aspects of project management, like risk, communication, stakeholder, working with different like motivation theories, handling trainings, handling conflicts, managing issues, taking care of procurement sometime needed. So those all kind of concepts, and if we really understand them, and we the exam gets easy. That's the first thing. Second, our role as a project manager also becomes very easy, and it includes good amount of agile and integration of agile and predictive life cycle. So in our program, especially, I'm not saying it's everywhere, we ensure that if we talk about risk, we look at agile way of handling risk and predictive way of handling risk together. If you are looking at a managing team, we look at both the things together. So we look into various aspects of project management, from predictive as well as adaptive way of working, which gives a good foundation for your project management career. That's what we get as a feedback as well. And it is just not a certification, it helps you to set your roadmap for your project management career. So PMP, and if you get a chance, our PMP can take you beyond PMP. So, okay. Okay. So we have some question. So tell me, certification for management consulting. I'm not sure what you mean by that clearly, but in our agile world, people are usually doing agile consulting, not a pure business strategy consulting. So we do have a program which are more on transitioning space, consulting for bringing the transformation and transitioning, not yet on consulting on identifying the right products, right strategies, or right improvement areas. So those kind of programs, as of now, we don't have. Yeah. So we have a transitioning program. Okay, so why don't Eisenbridge have a continuous training program instead of giving days of gaps in between each session of PMP? So what we tried doing last time, and I don't want to do that mistake again, we had frequent sessions during our weekends and people felt really exhausted. As I said, our program is just not pushing information to you. We have around 60 to 70 hours of pre-recorded video, and then I teach you for around 35 to 36 hours. If you make consumption of those videos along with the class, if you can spend around 50 hours along with the class, then the class becomes complete and you get a complete understanding of project management. So to facilitate that, yeah, we are saying that, okay, there is a possibility people can study before or after, but many miss doing that. So from our side, it is more difficult for us to give a gap. Yeah, as a pure business perspective, it's easy for us to just like finish it in a one go, but at least 50% people use that gap. Yeah, and that's good enough, for good reason for us to keep that gap. And we give it so that you can consume that content, digest that content, try some practice tests during it, and you can make good use of your PMP certification. Yeah. So MPA with PMP, we do see many participants having MBA and then they adding PMP. We do see many participants not having MBA and then doing PMP. As I said, it's a combined package. Your profile will be your profile. So the degrees, education, experience you have, they all come together. So they will influence, because your recruiter will have a specific need. So in agile environment, when product owner is available, is the business analyst role required? So you can say the business analysis is required. Yeah. Now, is it expected to be done by the same person, or it is expected to be done by two people? That's an organizational choice. So many times you see that there is a detailed analysis work which is done by the team member. They don't have a role called business analyst. That role is called team member. So some team member is elaborating the details. Sometimes you see a person who is also playing a role of a product owner. He is the one who is doing detailed business analysis. So the business analysis is needed the way we need to do a coding and testing. We may not need a person called tester, but we need a testing, as an activity. Similarly, you may not need a person called business analyst, but you need a business analysis. That's what we see. So what is a widely used method other than SAFE? So this is something various organization conduct survey and they produce results. Each survey has their own results. That's something like when people are using large scale agile implementation, what are the popular methods? So usually most of these surveys shows the SAFE is leading by a big margin. The other names which comes after that margin, recently I saw the second was coming as a scale at Scrum. There is sometime you see the large scale Scrum also coming. Sometimes you see a Nexus also coming. Sometimes you see a discipline agile also coming. So yeah, these are the things. But again, all these things are based on surveys, and surveys has their own biases. They have a limited participants. Some company promote that survey to their client space, so they get more percentage weightage. But yeah, that's a topic you can explore with various consulting firms showing that information. But one thing is pretty obvious. Most of the consulting firms survey shows SAFE is leading with a big margin when it comes to adoption. So as a Scrum Master, what will you do if the team is not moving towards commitment or sprint goals? Yeah. So what do we do? Forget about Scrum Master. What do you do as a leader or a project manager when you see that your team is stuck or team is not focused, team is not committed, team is confused, team is having problem? What do? We need to do something. Now, exactly what you do depends. What is the type of problem? What are the reasons behind it? But you need to do something. Now, possible things. Probably you need to facilitate some conversation and ask them, guys, what is missing? Or probably you see that there is a clarity of requirement missing, some list of impediments, list of issues are there. You resolve those issues. The another thing is make the things transparent. So as a generic leadership role, Scrum Master, Project Manager varies, that label will vary. Whenever something is happening, first, do we have a common understanding of what is happening? Bringing things out is a first thing in a very crystal clear manner rather than subjective manner, objectively. So we all see this is happening. We do have the X number of defects coming every day. We have uh, like deviation in our commitments over a period of time. We have a lack of collaboration happening all the time. So whatever is dysfunction, whatever is not working, first I need to make sure how can I make it objectively visible. Yeah. After that, work with the team to find out how do we move forward, because we understand with these dysfunctions we will not be able to move forward. Yeah. So these two activities are needed, and that will find out the solution of it. Many times as a leader I try to find out, I do something. Yeah. What I would say is, before you do something, see it well, because most of the time we jump to doing something without even seeing it well, because you are seeing and your team seeing is very different. Yeah, they don't see what you see, or they don't agree with what you see. So we need to ensure that we have a common problem which both of us are seeing together. And when we see it together in a factual manner, then many times the solutions start emerging automatically. If we see it together, that's the only thing, without thinking of the solution. So make sure how do you can make things transparent. That's the Scrum tells. Your daily Scrum, your Kanban boards, your impediment boards, all these things should bring the transparency. When the transparency shows the troubles, you make the trouble visible, retrospect on it. Again, we can use all these words and then probably find out how we move forward with that. Thank you. Yeah, thank you for joining this session. Yeah, I just responding to Devashish's point. Yeah. Okay, thank you, Balchandra. Okay, so here we are. Okay, so I wait for some more time because I'm expecting it's going to be a little short session because of the holiday mood happening around. I can see the people started like enjoying their holidays from last week, I think this Monday, and I'm getting less and less emails and less questions nowadays. But we do get questions which are urgent. Oh, I want to start the training now and finish it now. Yeah, that kind of questions are coming. But less and less inquiry questions are coming nowadays because I think people want to take some time and then decide in the Gen space. But still, we are here for another 10 minutes. And if you have anything, we can talk. Kumkum, you wanna speak something based on these things like Cali, Callo, and all those things, for a group or other stuff?
Nothing much, just wanted to share. Yes, there are a lot of people asking for in the combination of Cali, they want to go for the Cal T or Cal O. So yeah, definitely we have plans in 2023, and I am committed. Shekhar is committed. Definitely, we are launching Cal T and Cal O soon. So first we'll launch Cal T, and the people who are already done Cal E with us, I'll pass the information, and of course we'll talk about the upcoming sessions here also. And one interesting thing, I mean, because frequently we don't run the CSPSM or ACSPO kind of sessions. So this next week we have CSPSM as well. So the people who are already working as a Scrum Master, Senior Scrum Master, and looking for more growth, more experience, and if you have already done your ACSM, so you must join CSPSM and upgrade your skills.
Great,
So,
great, great.
and
Thank you.
that's all from my side. And just wanted to wish everyone Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. Enjoy your New Year parties and take care of
I have few
yourself.
questions to handle. Yeah, I have a few questions to
Yeah,
handle.
go ahead. Go ahead.
So, see, for mentor and coach, please drop us an email at sales@eisenbridge.com and give us little background about your need. And as we get those details, we will connect the right person to you. Yeah, so that's the thing. Now, what is the criteria pointers to become a trainer? Something you know, something you can communicate can help you in becoming a trainer. Yeah. So again, it depends. You want to become a certification trainer or non-certification trainer. If you want to become a certification trainer, then each body has their own path. They have their own curriculum. And for example, if you become a PMI certification trainer, the PMI has a path. They call it ATP training path. You need to just take that follow. In general, you know the subject, you communicate the subject, you are a trainer. Yeah, you don't have to do anything else. Prasanna is sharing his experience that yeah, many organizations are still having a BA because they have a BA to translate the requirement. Thank you for sharing it. Scrum Alliance CSM program, Jan Feb, we have almost every week. Yeah, almost every week, but still we'll drop you information. You can drop us at sales@eisenbridge.com or just visit our website called eisenbridge.com. Okay, so we have a question. I'm wondering if you can give some insight towards career in product ownership and Scrum Master. I mean, as a career path, which you have a better value in the term of job, prospect, security, longevity, and we can also should go to safe POPM, safe Scrum Master, 15-year experience. Okay, so what I'm sensing is the person is standing on a crossway and thinking of should I focus more on a scrum master role or should I focus on more on a product owner role, and also thinking of is it a safe way of doing scrum master is more important or a safe way of doing product ownership is more environment. Yeah, so that's the thing which I am picking here. So simply see, if you are working in a consulting space, the role of project management or a scrum master has a more demand because there is a possibility the requirement oriented role is kept at a client level. So the requirement expertise is with the client and they give you things and you work beyond that. And the consulting organization who are doing work for others, they need to be expert in translating things and getting things done. Now, if you work in that context, the Scrum Master and project management is something needed because the product work is coming from outside. Yeah, that's a one direction. If you can navigate and get into product type of, so it depends upon which country and which area you work. In India, we have more jobs in that area because there are more people, more need. The most of the organization has that business model. So that's the thing. But at the same time, we have a supply also there because since that's a business model, more and more people do project management certification than anything else. So that's the supply also there. Now, if you have an opportunity to create your area in a product ownership, that creates a niche market for you. Your market size shrinks, yeah, because you have a special area. Not anyone, everyone can take you. But at the same time, in that small market, you have a high value. So the risk you carry is that you have a small market to work on. Yeah, the benefit you carry on in that particular market, you have a better prospects of earning money and growing forward. So depend. So if you have a market which is stable enough, which you have a skills, I believe the product ownership can definitely give you far more heights. And again, height depends upon in each area, project management or product ownership. There is always outliers. They perform far better. So everyone can go high provided they get the right path in both the roles. But yeah, on average, moderately, the product management role will make more money provided they get an area which is in demand enough and they can develop those skills which can keep them into a niche market. Yeah. But now, safe, non-safe doesn't matter much. It's all about what is our, do we focus on facilitation, coordination, coaching, mentoring, dependency management, getting things done, Scrum Master, Project Manager, or we focus on identifying customers and getting the requirement identified and prioritizing and doing market research, product ownership. Now, this can be done in a safe context. This can be done in non-safe context. Yeah, so that's something you can do. Now, certifications you only do in order to find out that, okay, I know the process part of it. So when you go for a POPM certificate or CSPO certificate, you don't probably develop an expertise of identifying a domain requirement, but you develop an expertise of how do you manage that thing in a Scrum on safe space. So which is just a process part of it. I would say 5% of your job, but there is a 95% which is going beyond there. Similarly, like a Scrum Master, they will tell you how to do things in Scrum, but the people management, asking, facilitating, coaching is your 95% job. Remembering 5% of Scrum theory helps you, but not rest of it. Yeah. So that's what I can say here. Okay. Okay, so there is a conversation happening between Prasanna and Narendra. Continue doing. I have no role here. Okay, so I can take a one question. Agile coach mandatory in any organization? What the criteria? So see, as we see, and as your answer is there, that no role is mandatory. Like a business analysis role is also not mandatory. It depends upon the organization. So actual roles are designed by the organization. Some organization need them, some organization may not. Yeah. So agile coach is a type of role which you see is usually created when you have big amount of transformation happening, like when people have been working in a one particular way and you want to make them work in a different way, and you want some people who can keep guiding multiple teams so that they have a common understanding. So it's like facilitating multiple teams to understand agility and develop agility to start with. After that, there might be some amount of intervention still needed to do a process guidance and aligning towards agility. So if your organization is moving towards transformation, or if your organization has a established agile center of excellence, you can see that you will have an agile coaches. Yeah, if your organization is working for someone and you are just delivering things, then probably they don't need an agile coach. The client may have an agile coach for themselves, but for your is it's all about getting things done. Yeah. Okay. So, is there any program through which the team can access the trainer to judge the expertise and interest and guide them to follow a next suitable path? Uh, 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 so, not a specific thing, but that mentoring thing which we were discussing is possibly can help. And this is the program which helps probably to do some amount of self-reflection. But if you have a little specific need, you can drop us an email and let's see, you can share your profile. We will see if we have some mentor who can guide you in your area, and we can take it. So just drop the details of needed, what kind of mentorship you need, little bit, and attach your profile details so that we can find out if we have some suitable mentor for you. Okay, so I don't hold you all for long, and I think it was nice talking, yeah, or even on such a holiday season time. And oh yeah, this is seems to be the last session. I was saying the last session was also becoming a last, but this seems to be the last session of this year. Yeah, so it's more or less 1.5 year we are doing these sessions. Earlier we were doing weekly, now we started doing second and fourth Friday. It was 46th session. So I think we started somewhere June 2021, and it's around uh, 18 months. Good. I think I'm enjoying having some amount of direct connect with all of you so that we can get some information and we can take things forward together. Yeah. So thank you everyone for joining in, and see you again in the next year. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm so sorry.
No problem.
Thank
Yeah.
you very much for joining, guys, and wish you a very Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. Take care of yourself. We'll be back on Jan 13th now, because the frequency of this session is the second Friday and the fourth Friday. So we'll be back on 13th of January 2023. Take care of yourself. Stay safe.